Almost got there. OK, let's get a reaction from the Etihad. We're delighted to say City's equalising goal scorer John Stones is ready to... Good to see you. Well done. What did that feel like at the end, first of all, when you got that 2-2?
Yeah, special one for me. Don't get too many moments where you have a vital contribution into a game, and to score like that against one of our biggest rivals over the past few years is really pleasing for me, and I suppose for the guys that played the majority of the game incredibly well, emotionally tough and physically as well against Arsenal's low block. To come up with a goal like that is pleasing for me.
Your last one at the Etihad was 17 months ago against Arsenal. You only do big games, big goals, it seems.
I'm trying to get in the right areas. No, the manager said to me when I came on to stay close to early and get more crosses in the box. When the boys took that quick corner and it came in there, I tried to stay within the width of the goal and see if any knockdowns. Luckily it did. Didn't get the best contact on it, but I think those are the ones that go in sometimes, definitely did today, and pleased to be on the score sheet.
Yeah, a vital goal. Now, Joe Hart was watching that with us in the studio, John, and before I let him speak to you, I want to play you Joe's reaction when you scored. Have a look at this.
I'm excited now.
Get in.
What? It was always going to happen. I told you.
There's our
Go on, Johnny. Johnny Stone. Johnny.
Oh, I love it, Harty.
John boy, congratulations, man. What a moment.
Thank you, mate.
Buzzing, but we were just discussing, I'm an act grown up here, even though I never do around you. We were just discussing about the game plan against the low block. Obviously, Mikel made it very clear that it was going to be a packed defence. They were never going to try and counter you. What was the instruction from the side? You said coming on there, you were potentially going to have to stand next to Haaland, more crosses into the box, but it looked like the boys were never panicked and you felt like there was always going to be a way, right the way up until that moment, taking the short corner, for example.
Yeah, no, as I said, the manager told me to go on, play in front of Erling, as I suppose if you want to look at it on the pitch as a number 10, try and get more crosses, and as you said, emotionally, I felt we dealt with it really well. A lot of changes in the game, a lot of stoppages, which we know over the past few years Arsenal have brought into the game and make it difficult, stop the flow. And obviously the sending off is a big thing as well, when they go even deeper on the edge of the box. But as you said, emotionally to stick with it and not lose your heads and get frustrated with shooting from outside the box, being more patient around that and making it. They made it difficult for us. Obviously, it's never easy to find the spaces when they've got a back six with a few in front. We had to change it up and try and get more crosses in. And luckily the quick corner from, I think it was Jack, and I'm not sure who else, paid off. And they're the fine margins, I think, in these games, and obviously another decisive moment, if you want to call it, from their first goal with the referee and walks. Not exactly sure what the referee said to him, but I know that he called him over to speak to him, but then didn't allow him to get back into position. It could have been really costly if I'd be stood here talking without a point.
Absolutely, and what it has done, 48 games now unbeaten at the Etihad where you're standing. I mean, it's some fortress you've got there now, John, to get something from the game today.
Yeah, I think, as Joe said there, with the emotions and our mentality, how we control that and how we have, a positive mindset and a belief that we can always get something out of a game. I think we proved that here a few years ago when we scored 3 in 10 minutes to win the league or something like that. It's never over until that final whistle, and I think everyone played their part today and contributed. And if we can keep going like that here at home, I'm sure we'll have a great chance again this season.
Well, you certainly contributed. Joe's just off to work on his singing, so thanks very much indeed for joining us, John. Well done today.
Thank you.
Oh, mate.
Almost got this.
It was some afternoon that, with your team desperately needing it, you must have been delighted to ride to the rescue.
Yeah, no, it was. I obviously frustrated that you don't get to play in these or start in these big games. And before the game, I tried to channel it and have a positive attitude for if needed and come on. And I think over the years we've learned as a team to stick together no matter who's playing, and to always be ready. I know the manager emphasises that. I'm sure you've heard before. And I came on and tried to be inside the box for more crosses, and one dropped to me, and then put it in the back of the net, thankfully.
It's interesting for you to say that you were in there to sort of get on the end of a cross. I presumed you were brought on to bring a bit of calmness and for that final pass, but it seems not.
No, he wanted me to play closer to Erling, to higher up in the pitch, to get more crosses in, hopefully try and win a few aerial duels.
Has he ever said that to you before, get closer to Erling?
Not really. It's so interchangeable though, everyone plays in pockets, so fluid in movements and recognising if someone's not in their position to occupy it. But I tried to go on there, get in the right areas, and it fell for me luckily, and I'm really pleased to score a goal like that.
So what did you make of the afternoon? Like you said, it wasn't a view you wanted, but you had a decent vantage point from the bench. City started the game so quick, then it swung back their way, and then it becomes a different beast altogether, doesn't it, when it's 11 against 10?
Yeah, no, so it's a difficult afternoon, and I think for both teams, how they stop the play, how they use the side of football that not many teams do, make it difficult, slow it down, get the keeper on the floor to get some information on, and we have to control our emotions during those times, and I felt that we did, and it was a good battle today. A lot of tackles, some silly decisions, but it's hard to kind of all digest it all straight after the game. But we come away with a point. Towards the end of the game, it could have been us losing 3 points. So, we'll review it. We've obviously got a game in 2 days, which is quick and fast. But I think how we fought right until the end is credit to us.
Now, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but you're basically saying Arsenal have mastered the dark arts, and it's very frustrating to deal with, right?
I don't know if they've mastered it. They've done it for a few years, and we know to expect that. That's you can call it clever or dirty, whichever way you want to put it. They break up the game and obviously upsets the rhythm for everyone. They use it to their advantage, and we I thought we dealt with it really well. It's not easy when those things are happening. You're trying to gain momentum. You're trying to get a foot into the game and get above them, and those little stoppages stopped that, and we controlled our emotions, as I said, really well.
And last one, you said, I think in the answer before last, there were silly decisions. Do you mean from them, from you, from the referee?
A whole load of things, really. Probably what everyone expects watching a big game like this, that there's drama, and when we're involved in it, you want to be level-headed, not make silly fouls, take silly yellow cards, and I felt we did that, and we obviously made it difficult for the majority of the game, being so deep and having so many people around the box, and it was a day that we will have to definitely review and take a lot of positives from.
Do you think maybe for the first time we saw today a bit of needle introduced into this rivalry?
I think for the past few years, we've had a rivalry that's been growing, one that we thrive off, and one that we always want to come out on top. So to sit here with a point, it's difficult, especially at home, and we always want to come away with 3. But as I said before, I think how we manage the game and how we've come away with a vital point in the later stages of the game is something that we should be proud of.
Thanks, John. Well done on your goal.
Appreciate it.
Well done, bud. Thank you.
City, we await Arsenal reaction. We'll bring it to you when we have it. We'll get into the analysis a little bit later. Let's just have a couple of minutes, Roy, on conclusions. What do you take from that game? What do City and Arsenal take from that game?
Well, obviously, City will be delighted with the point. You're going into the It's their last kick of the game. Obviously, John Stones is talking about Arsenal, I suppose, their tactics, really. Obviously, that frustrated them when they got their noses in front 2-1. A lot of time wasting. And ultimately, it's cost them. You know, I think obviously Arsenal can be smart with that, of course. But I think they probably overdone it today. And ultimately, it backfired at the end. There was obviously 7 or 8 minutes gone on at the end. City's lack of quality surprised me in the second half for all their possession. Obviously, the stats there are amazing. But the lack of movement, lack of runs, lack of quality, really. But they kept going. But I think even with Arsenal with 10 men, I know they give them credit for sitting in and defending, they still needed to do a little bit more in possession. Because ultimately, they were always, OK, it came on late, the goal. But you always felt it was going to come. Do you know what I mean? You just need to do a bit more. You're talking about Arsenal Football Club trying to win the league titles. They done as well against Brighton a few weeks ago. The last 10 or 15 minutes, they're almost time wasting, settling for a draw. I just wanted to see another side to Arsenal, and I didn't quite see it today. But ultimately, before the game, they would have took a draw. And both teams, I suppose, will be satisfied with that.
How hard is it when down to 10 men in midfield areas? Because I think subconsciously, as a centre-half or a full-back, you just want everyone in solid. So when you get the ball, what are you looking for within...
Do you know what, Mike? Listen, obviously it's difficult against Man City. It's difficult when you have 11 players, but you don't understand. I just think you just need a couple of more passes or players to win a free kick, get you a little bit up the pitch. Because again, the stats are that pressure, and ultimately it wasn't really lack of quality that cost them. It was just the pressure was building, a quick corner at the end, a short corner. I just think from Arsenal, it just show a little bit more quality or...
Personality?
Yeah, personality. Maybe composure, more better decision-making in possession. I know it's hard when we're sitting up here and we're having cups of tea and you're obviously eating loads of chocolate and stuff, and it's easy to judge them, but I just think they need to show a little bit more in these games.
When you want to break down 10 men, you have to go on the outside. Yeah, everybody wants to. There was no, as Roy said, there's no overlap. No one done an overlap once. No one, and that's because then all of a sudden, as you get the overlap, defenders rush back, and then you can pull that ball back. You know, it was a bit like with the Jack thing there. Quick free kick, a quick corner, and as he's running, they're all going back towards their goal. They all come back, and he rolls it to Kovacic. Kovacic shoots. There was I was quite shocked with Man City. I thought they were void of ideas. But given
the start of the game, I think both of you really, from the Arsenal perspective, we're talking about a point has been a really good result for Arsenal. Yeah. In the manner that it comes, being so close to a landmark victory, is that not gut-wrenching for them?
Oh no, of course it's going to be gut-wrenching. Of course it is. But they would have taken this at the start of the game, and it's just one of those opportunities where, yes, they failed in that state with the points, but it's the games, I said, which they can't afford to drop points. Yes, Brighton, of course, but your West Hams, your Fulhams, like last year, they can't afford to do that again because City won't give that opportunity. So, look, it's they've learned a lot from each other today of how working hard in a unit. And the manager would have learnt a lot from his players, the responsibility to it. But yeah, I've got to agree, they've got to be better on the ball. As a ball carrier itself, for instance, you've got to win throw-ins up high. I would have done this in this sort of game, and that's the difficulty.
It's a reminder as well to everyone, we look at the squad. Obviously, Grealish comes on, has an effect towards obviously doing a goal. The Stones, players off the bench, you saw it with Villa yesterday, these top teams, the influence of the subs coming on is going to be huge come the end of the season.
So, what would have been an unbelievable result? What are your feelings at the end?
No, I'm so proud of the team. Obviously, we played the game in an unbelievable, difficult context already from the start, playing against the best team in the world, and then obviously after what happened, we had 2-1 up. Obviously, it's a different story, but I prefer not to make any comments about that.
How hard to take is it that goal coming so late on after, as you've just said, the heroics your defence has shown?
Yeah, it is obviously a big blow because we had it. It was 97 minutes. They extended again, and we end up conceding the goal. But obviously, it's already a miracle. You know, we play 55 minutes or 56 minutes at the Etihad with 10 men against this team. So it's already unbelievable what we've done, but for sure not a game that any spectator wanted to watch.
I know you can only go so far, but you'll have frustrations with the result. Is it more than that, though, your frustrations today?
Yeah, for sure. I prefer not to comment. It's that obvious what happened before that, what happened when they made that decision, that it doesn't deserve my comment. We already ruined the game. I don't want to ruin anything else off the pitch.
Is there bad blood between these teams, or is it just good, healthy competition that you've got between City and Arsenal now?
It's a really healthy competition. Two teams that love winning, that are challenging each other, and you can feel that tension, that emotion, and that passion in the game.
And can you explain to those of us watching on from the side just how hard it is with 10 players against a team like this to block and block and block as you did?
It's an impossible job. It's an accident waiting to happen, because they have that many resources. They don't give the ball away. They lose the ball away inside the penalty box. You have no situations to get out. It's very tricky.
When you take a step back tomorrow and look at this, I know you talked about coming here and showing you've taken another step to get closer. Have you done that today?
100%. We certainly done that, yes.
Thanks, Mikel.
Thanks, guys. Thank you.
Interesting. He said it's the impossible job.
Yeah, it is.
To keep a clean sheet. And it was a miracle, he said.
You know, the thing is that there's been plenty of times I've been at home watching City and watching people do that with City. Remember, even when the Aguero, you're watching it and you're hoping that City can break them down. So I've watched them do it so many times down the years. They just keep going. And then you get the break like they did with Jack getting the space, taking the corner quickly, and then Kovacic getting the space. But, it's something that it's going to be almost impossible. But, I think Arsenal 3 away games, starting with the derby, then Atalanta, and then away to City, going down to 10 men, no Erdegaard. You have to, he probably will, when he looks back on that, think, it's been, with 1 day less rest. All these things, you have to put that in the pot. He's got to be happy with that today. He's got to be happy with that.
Do you think that's a small step forward psychologically for Arsenal then, to get something out of that game with 55 minutes with 10 men?
Yeah, I think out of the two, of course, Manchester City will be relieved to grab a point in the end. But I think, on balance of the game, I think, who would have been happy with a point before the game? And that would have been Arsenal. So I think that's when they had 11 men, they were winning 2-1. They were playing well, scored a couple of goals. It was all looking good for them. So yeah, I think mentally that would be a big confidence booster for Arsenal.
Let's go back to Kolo Toure at the Etihad, who we spoke to for the game. You saw two very different halves of football there, Kolo, and obviously and understandably. What did you make of it all?
I think that Man City dominated the game in the first half, and I think they conceded 2 goals. And what I think they did in the second half was fantastic, because they put that was a good draw from 2 top teams.
And just on that point of defending deep, Kolo, as a defender, give us a sense of the level of concentration with 10 men against the best team in the world that you need to maintain there to keep them out.
I think you need determination, you need communication, and I think you need all the team to work hard. And you can see the Arsenal wingers, they were coming, and because Arsenal had a 5-4, and they were really compact, blocking spaces around the box, allow Man City to go on the side. But Man City, when they cross the ball, they have only Haaland, which is tall, who can head the ball. All the rest are not as tall, and then Arsenal were in favour. And that's why I think the midfield, Rice on the middle there, and the other midfield, they worked so hard to stop the shot around the box, and that was perfect from Arsenal. And at the end, I think Man City deserved to score that goal, because overall, on all the game, I think Arsenal, Man City were the better team, I can say.
Kolo, great to see you. Thank you very much today.
Thank you. My pleasure, always.
Kolo Toure at the Etihad. Psychologically, have Arsenal gone forward today? Is that another little notch that, they've virtually kept them out and got a point with 10 men?
You have to take it. I think if you go to City and you get anything, you've got to take it. Coming so close with 10 men, obviously there's going to be a lot of disappointment, but you still got to say psychologically they've got to take that as a win, because I have to agree with Michael at the start of the game. If Arsenal knew they can get a point out of that, they probably would have taken it. It is still Man City, and if we could get 4 points off them again this season, they'll be happy with that. So that today, as it went so close, but absolutely delighted with that point.
Pep Guardiola's press conference, he's been asked about Rodri. He doesn't know the extent of the injury, so there's no news. But the obvious concern is, if that is for a while, the size of the blow to Manchester City. We all know about the record when he doesn't play and what Rodri doesn't do, lose games.
Yeah, he didn't look comfortable, did he? It was innocuous, no blame to Thomas Partey. Just caught him slightly off balance. It actually looked like the opposite knee to the one that he was struggling with buckled. But you've just got to wait to see how these things play out. He's just off the back of an injury. Are his senses heightened? Is he more panicking, or is this something that's actually quite serious? But Man City have got top medical staff. He'll be given all the right attention and all the tests that can go on. But I think this was a real highlight of what the game was like at this point. You know, you've got Akanji's in a scrap there, Partey bumping Rodri. It was electric, and it's a shame that casualties when the game's like that. But as I say, no blame to anyone, and we'll wait and see how this one plays out.
And something else that's got lost in all this dramatic day, 100 goals in 104 games for Erling Haaland.
Yeah.
And I think it was mentioned in commentary as well. Sergio Aguero took 158 games to get to 100, and we thought that was a magnificent feat. I mean, you strikers, you're all about numbers. I mean, they're just off the charts, those kind of numbers, aren't they?
It is incredible, yeah. I mean, he's playing for the best team that create the best chances, blah, blah, blah. Of course, you know, he's got all that. But to score those goals, I mean, it is quite amazing. He's an absolute goal machine. He's turned up at the best team at the best time of his life. He's almost, been at other clubs and honed his talent and practiced his trade, and all of a sudden he's come to the best league in the world, in the best team in the world, arguably, and, he gets given chances and he's the right man to finish them off. So it's just the perfect storm, the perfect storm, the perfect timing. And there is no reason at all why he can't get to the next 100 in as quick a time. This is not a fluke. This is not like a 10-goal, run in 5 games. It's unbelievable. This is constant. He's a constant source of goals. And as I say, there is no reason why he's going to slow down in any way.
And Aguero, who you played with, obviously was right up there, and the greatest of all time, City's record goal scorer. 58 games later, he reached that. I mean, it's just. It defies belief, really, these numbers.
It does, and it just needs to be celebrated. We've got a guy here who's come to the toughest league in the world. Apparently, that's constantly said by players that have played in various leagues, and he has been absolutely unbelievable. And he didn't necessarily fit in when he came. The team. That's how good a player he is. Pep Guardiola's changed his whole kind of strategy of how he uses a forward player. Credit to him.
Arsenal, onwards and upwards?
Absolutely. Without a doubt, we've got to take the positives from that game and just go again. We know what it's going to be like trying to chase down this team. We just got to be positive and go again.
And those two and Liverpool, good result for Liverpool today.
It probably was, yeah. I mean, there's other teams that are in this title race, but you'd have to say on current evidence that you'd think Arsenal, Liverpool and Manchester City are possibly a step ahead. There'll be a few people arguing about that, Villa fans and whatever, but that was... It's almost a good result for everybody, I think, today. It keeps it all bubbling nicely.
Gave us plenty to talk about today. Righty, Joe, Michael, thank you very much for your company. Johnny
Stone.
There we go. That was the difference in the 98th minute. Honours even from the four of us. We hope you enjoyed that. We'll see you soon. Take care.
To 9 minutes, 21 minutes on the clock. When Rodri went off, he was making his first start of the season. So that was a big blow for Manchester City. Then Arsenal win a free kick, which we'll come back to City being really unhappy about the taking of it, the position, the speed of it. You can't debate the finish, Roy.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. As soon as he leaves his foot in the back line, that fantastic strike. Coming onto it, certainly not easy from that angle. First time strike from a defender, beautiful goal, absolutely. And we mentioned earlier, as soon as he left his foot, you're thinking, he knows it's hitting the back of the net. Brilliant strike.
You don't see many goals from that side of the box, so we're starting to get it back now, which is nice to see, to be fair, in those moments. Incredible goal.
Great celebrations as well from him. But as you heard, City were really unhappy about the goal that they conceded. Let's have a look at if we can see why they are so unhappy, Micah. We sort of touched on this very quickly at half-time. That's where the foul was, you can see.
That's where the foul was, yes.
That was on that dark cut strip.
Referee calls over Kyle Walker. He gets back into position, although he's sort of ambling, but not really quick. Now, he's not really set, but if he gets back quicker, he can deal with the situation. Now he's always chasing, always going to be difficult. But I mean...
Sorry, do you think that Pep Guardiola was unhappy because, as Kyle Walker is telling Michael Oliver, I didn't have time to get back in position? Or is he frustrated that Kyle Walker didn't get back into position quickly enough?
I think it was a bit of both, really. But it's very difficult, isn't it? Because when you're going at that pace, within the game and whatnot, you're ambling back, you're looking around. You're not ambling back just for the sake of ambling back. You're ambling back to see what's going on around you. They take a quick free kick and then you're on the back foot. That's why it's a difficult one to see exactly what's going on. I don't know if he was getting some information from Pep, but it was just odd situation. I feel a little bit sorry for him, like I said at halftime, because especially against Arsenal, you want to be set. You want everything in front of you. You see, he's back in position. Because a lot of people will say, OK, well, he is set. He's back in, but he's not set. There's a difference between your body shape. So when you get back in, you're ready for what's to come. If he would have been in a situation where he would have been set, then it would have been a little bit different. But he could have ran a little bit quicker.
But don't you think there, though, like, he's virtually done his job, hasn't he? In a way, do you know what I mean? Because it gets rolled back to the edge of the box, so he's sort of half done his job. If you'd have said, if he doesn't score there, I would have gone, good play by the fullback. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, the only thing is, he's up against Martinelli. If we're talking about maybe a Trossard on that situation, he gets back.
He's done his job now, hasn't he? Look.
He's not beaten him. He's not got to cross it.
Yeah, that's what I can't... Do you know what I mean? Do you think Silvino has to have trust in Walker to not come back that far? Because he's coming back to double up and you're thinking... Walker's one of the best in the business.
Walker, who is an experienced professional,
he's
played for England on numerous occasions, right? You get in position as soon as you can.
Yeah.
Even a Kanji or Diaz, you get back. One of those, take responsibility because, you know, you're Man City, you're playing for them. You need
and
to
even
be
when
able to be in
Walker's
shape
called
at
over to the referee, maybe Wonk should say, well, he looks like he's getting tied up there. I'll just come across and help him while he's having that little chat. Listen, but I think because it ends up in a goal, that's why he was obviously so frustrated.
So Arsenal back in it. Did we then, Theo, see why they are just the supreme side when it comes to set pieces?
Yeah, I said this before. They dominate set pieces, and it's not. You know, it's a given now. It seems to be. And
we fancied him to score here, didn't we?
We did. Again, it was the warning signs, which have been numerous occasions throughout the whole season. But again, they work on it every day. And again, he's isolating Kyle Walker, trying to put him off.
As you said at half-time, they make that switch. It was Doku trying to block him. Then it was Kyle Walker, who fared no better.
But he's always going to win this header because he's got to run on people. He's got. Listen, I'm not sure what Walker's doing there, but I think the goalkeeper's got to do more. I think the goalkeeper's got to dominate that area.
But Arsenal's so smart in
Look at
the way they put players in positions. Look,
but how come he's getting knocked over? Why isn't he knocking people over? The goalkeeper's...
I agree.
He got a warning 3 or 4 minutes earlier. So the goalkeeper, you always see goalkeepers chatting with the goalkeeper. That's your area. So somebody comes into your area, be ready. I've always said, goalkeeper coach I work with years ago, come with violence.
So you're saying to your keeper to take a different sort of starting position?
Just step back. I'll be on your toes. I look at people and say, if you come anywhere near me, hey, I'm taking the ball and I'm taking you with me. So let them at least have a little bit of hesitation, because it happened twice. He's always going back to it instead of coming back and going, I'm ready. He's not even bouncing. He doesn't even look aggressive. So if people are coming near him, he should be grabbing them. He should be almost stepping on them. He should be almost, not stamping on their toes, but going, do you want to come here near me? I tell you, let's see who wins this battle. Hey, remember, he can use his arms. Come and punch it.
We saw how big they were down there, right?
They're big guys, yeah.
They're big guys. So you need to be able to put someone...
If it's easy said than done, Roy, when you see these
I'm not saying it's easy, but they've got to do something about it. But if the goalkeeper's in there, and he's a top-class goalkeeper, so we're talking about shop stoppers, it's commanding your area. Get people where they're supposed to be. And as I said, it's just about cases of looking at somebody. If there's somebody coming for a ball, you can use your arms. And I know these lads have a run you, but you can use your arms. Come and punch it. Take the guy's head off if you have to.
Well, what was really interesting that our analysts have spotted was the setup. Top and bottom is the chance, which Gabriel almost scored from, and the one at the bottom, which they did. It is identical, really, apart from Doku and Walker switching. And just roll it on, and you see how the goalkeeper gets sort of trapped by these bodies, and then at the back post.
But they would have done their homework on this. They would have said to the goalkeeper, they're going to try and block you, obviously. But he's got to be ready for it. He looks as if, I'm surprised at this. I've not seen this before. You know a player's going to get in your way, but you push them out of the way.
But to be successful in these moments, do you also need that pinpoint delivery? We didn't sort of point out that ball is landing in almost the same position from Bukayo Saka.
Yeah, he does do it, but it's the people that get on the end of it. They can all put the ball in sixpence, every one of them. It's what comes in. You know, he comes up, he wants to win, he's pushing everybody out the way. When you look at that, Haaland's the biggest player on the pitch. He's out the equation. Him and Akanji at the near post. It's never coming to the near post. You're better if with your Haaland being at the back where you can come and attack the ball. You know, you watch Man United play, they put Maguire in the middle of the goal. Put the middle of the goal and he heads 75% of every corner away. You know, Haaland's there. Everybody knows where it's going to go. It's only going to be Gabriel or it's only going to be Saliba. They're the only two. It's not like everybody's scoring. So just make sure you isolate them too. But they're not. You know, Haaland's at the front post. It just goes over his head. He's 6'4", 5".
But you're saying that, so Arsenal obviously are attacking it and they're pushing City players out of the way. So why are you letting them push you out of the way?
And he's your biggest player, though.
But you stop.
You're not going to push him.
You try and stop the first run, obviously. You try and make him slow down his run. But this is the idea going, well, it's just a good ball into the box. You do nothing about it. Well, just give him have a free header every week.
Yeah, but it has to be some ball to go over Haaland's head, doesn't it? I mean...
Not from there, not where he's not there. Not where Haaland is.
No, I'm just thinking of why you would want to put Haaland at the front post. Because that must be the only reason. It's got to be a hell of a ball to get over Haaland.
If he goes to the back post, then you're just going to stick it to the front post anyway.
Well, it's not really. It's a bit harder to come. If you're a centre half, you want to be coming and attacking in the middle of the goal or the back. Anything at the near post, centre halves ain't going to get in front of another centre half and glance it in the far corner. They're just not. That's not their game. They want to come up and bang.
It was a tetchy game. There was a collision right from the kickoff, if you remember, involving Rodri, and then just before half-time we saw the red card for Trossard. This is the first yellow. Theo, any complaints here from an Arsenal perspective?
Not at all. I've done this before in the past when a player's got away from me. I had to put
you're
them back
expecting a yellow card?
I'm expecting a yellow card here because players know about this rule. At the start of the season, they always have this. You pull a shirt, you're always in danger of getting a yellow card. It's now when you have an experienced player like Trossard, and what's happened at the start of the season with Declan Rice is this incident here. The whistle does clearly go before, and I think maybe Trossard, if I'm playing devil's advocate here, he's noticed that Martinelli is exposing, I think, Kyle Walker, and there's a lot of space, but look...
That could be yellow in the barge into him, couldn't it? But you know what happens? We're in here and people say, we'll probably have to listen to it all week. People say, let me see it again. What do you need to see again? We played again.
So what's your instinct then, looking at that?
No, well, I'm just saying, if you're on a yellow card, I've said it before, and listen, unfortunately, I had a few reds. And if I was on it, you try not to give a referee a chance to give you another yellow.
Yeah.
He's given the perfect opportunity to say, well, obviously you barged into somebody, and he has kicked the ball away. It's not even a debate. You don't need to watch it 30 times. He's wrong. It's a second yellow, and it's the height of stupidity.
You got any defence?
No, because Trossard's a good footballer. He's got a good brain. If that was in real time and that was a game, he side foots that ball out to Martinelli. He doesn't just kick it with his laces. He literally side foots that out to him.
So you think that he knows what he's doing? You think that this is the fair cop, that they've had 2 red cards already this season for delaying the restart, Arsenal?
Yeah,
in 5 games.
He's heard the whistle and he's kicked it. He knows what he's doing. He knows what.
So does there need to be then a message from the manager now?
Look, it reminds me of the incident from Van Persie, at Barcelona, the Nou Camp when he kicked it. Van Persie's quality, he knows, he shouldn't have done that. He knew what he was doing. I got to agree, Trossard knows what he's doing. He needs to be careful. I don't feel like it would have stopped the quick free kick. Of course, Bernardo Silva's down on the floor, but you need to learn your lesson, and I think hopefully now they're going to learn it. But they're frustrated about the one, obviously, previously with Doku as well. That was the problem that they had.
I just think, I mean...
What do you think?
Where's the game going? I mean, it's common sense. Yeah, I agree, he's kicked the ball away.
Yeah.
It's a sloppy yellow card. It spoilt the game because the first half was brilliant, second half...
Whose fault is that?
Well, obviously it's his fault, but I mean, in a big game like this, you just want a little bit of common sense, don't you? Because if you look at the Doku one, Doku kicks the ball away, and he doesn't get anything for that. So we're talking about consistency. Again, we're looking at him and saying, well, how come he's getting a yellow card?
That's different. I don't think that's the same.
OK, well, what about the Rice one? The Rice one a couple of weeks ago.
Well, let's talk about the one from today instead, the Doku one.
Doku's obviously claiming and if you look with the referee, when he stops at the referee...
Right, well...
but look where the referee's pointing, right? But wait a second, the referee's pointing...
There.
The free kick's back there. I know, it's only a few yards. But he's not kicked... So... He's only knocked it back, he's not booted down the pitch.
Well, that's what I'm trying to say, common sense.
Declan Rice only booted the ball 2 yards the other day. Literally 2 yards away.
Yeah, I don't think how far you kick it.
No matter how far. I mean, he knows what he's doing.
To where the free kick
if you're delaying it, are you? No matter how far you're kicking it. I don't know, you tell me.
We are telling you.
Yeah. Look, I think the referee, like you say, he's clearly pointed. It's not for me.
Fair comment. Mike has said the red cards spoilt the game in the second half. It was certainly one-way traffic, and it was an interesting Arsenal approach. And this is sort of what it became, this sort of chess match of City with the ball, knocking it round on the edge of Arsenal's box and them trying to snuff out any chances. By and large, did it work for Arsenal?
Do you know what? It did, because I felt like Man City just got a little bit bored, to be honest. And when you're shooting from this distance, you ask some players like Kyle Walker, who has had maybe one in a few years, but look, he's shooting consistently from outside the box. Diaz, with the amount of touches as well, again, asking people to shoot outside the box. Arsenal will happily do this all day. Of course they will. So they did their job, but like Meeks was saying there, they switched off right at the end where it mattered. But look, they limited City to scraps, and as well, it was quite
the lack of movement was unbelievable.
Yes.
We were all sitting there watching them. We couldn't believe it, because obviously we all know how brilliant Man City are. They're passing, they're probing, they're challenging in different ways, but they weren't so predictable. I couldn't believe it.
The question, I suppose, that they were raising in commentary, Jamie and Gary, was who are the influential players of City on the edge of the box? And actually, the most 3 touches, Walker and Akanji. Walker actually had 4 shots from outside the box. Diaz had 4 shots from outside the box. I suppose that, from an Arsenal point of view, that's great. That's what you want, isn't it?
Well, this is what I'm trying to say. I mean, when we talk about defending and organisation, yeah, whether you agree Saliba and Gabriel had good games or not, it's the fact that there was organising. You see, when the ball was going up, they was going up together. They've got help from the midfielders in front. Partey and Rice did really well. Timber, I thought, was outstanding today as well. But they're forcing the ball. Why? You cross the ball into the box, we'll deal with it. That's the whole point. When you're doing drills in training, okay, where can you be hurt? In the middle of the goal. Arsenal did it perfectly. Just usher it, okay, you deal with it. Crossing coming, you can shoot from 30, 40 yards. We've done our job. If you switch off for a split of a second, you know you get punished. And that's why I think, not just a centre-half as well, I think in the second half for Arsenal, it was a really good defensive performance. Yes, in the last minute, you know.
But Man City deal with that most weeks, where teams are obviously sit in. Not as deep and probably in as suppose, as smart as Arsenal. And they were forcing it wide. But what Man City are usually good at, I know you want us to force us wide, but we're smart enough we'll go where we want to go. That's why you've mentioned they're one of the best teams ever. Mm-hmm. They'll dictate to you what they're going to do. But it was the Arsenal, to be fair to them, who had that set up. And we're on about they just had people behind the ball and the right positions, and they were forcing them wide. But the surprising bit was for us, when they're forcing them wide, you're going, well, that's where you need overlaps or underlaps or third man runs. They were just so predictable.
But they did have the quality from the bench in Grealish and Stones.
Yeah. Well, this is why they win the league every year, because their substitutions, their squad's unbelievable. It's the way Jack does it. He does it so quick. And this is what I'm saying. Then he goes and attacks. So all the defenders drop back, and then when they drop back, Kovacic just stands on the edge of the box. You watch. He gets it now. Now they're all going back. They're going backwards, and then. You know, they never had that once in the whole of the second half, where if they had an overlap, they would have got that, because then the fullback. But he even nearly saves us the goal. He's not even looking.
Yeah.
Look, he puts his leg up. I mean,
he got cramped here. I think.
Yeah,
cramped. Time wasted.
We would have been sitting here saying it's one of the best 45-minute defensive performances you'll see in the Premier League. You know, you're talking about one of the greatest teams of all time, not even look like really scoring. But in the end, they didn't, and we sit here and they didn't do it.
It wasn't the end of the chaos, though, Paul, because I don't think we've seen these pictures yet. There was a little bit of a tangle after the goal, and perhaps we can shed some light on why that was. Here's Haaland with the ball in his hand. Oh, bump.
No.
Oh.
No, that's not good.
It goes at Gabriel's head, who's obviously been fighting like mad to try and keep them out, and then that happened from the restart as well.
But you know, it's nice to see a bit of needle as well, isn't it?
Yeah, but you know what? There's nothing wrong with it. There's a little bit of needle. You know what I mean? Two competitive
you don't
teams.
need that.
No, you don't want someone throwing the ball at the back of your head. I don't mind that bit, but someone throwing the back of the ball.
No, I'm talking about this bit.
I don't
about
mind that. I'm fine with this.
Obviously.
Do you feel this game has changed from what we've seen today? Not just on the pitch as well, but on the touchline. There were moments as well between the two coaching staffs coming together. Is this game becoming
good,
a real proper rivalry now?
That's what you like to see. Now, you need that little bit of needle, because City know Arsenal are trying to hunt them down. And the more you dislike a team, there's always a bit of respect there. And no, I love seeing that. I think that adds to it, adds to the game. We obviously know the quality players on the pitch. A bit of needle, we've seen it a few times there. Love it.
I've got to agree. I mean, the rivalry we spoke about yourself and Patrick before, which was everyone loves those moments.
He used to try and bully me, Patrick.
Just about, maybe.
Yeah, retaliation.
And we're starting to see signs of that again because of the... I mean, there was a little bit of frustration maybe in some of the players as well, and hunger and determination, and just the pride they want to do for the fans as well, because they've come out here in this rain and they've literally not stopped singing and support their team for 10 men. So, I mean, point is, I'm pleased with a point, put it that way.
Any criticism for Erling Haaland in those moments?
Well, the ball in the back of head's not good, but all the needle stuff, and no, that's what you want. You know, he's up against two centre-halves who have had the better of him over the last couple of games. He scored today, he's happy. You know, that's the difference, no?
Yeah, well, the best way to shut people up is by scoring.
Exactly.
He done that today.
10 for the season already. He's the fastest player to 10 Premier League goals. He's done it after 5 games, and that's 100 goals now for Manchester City, which is just extraordinary, isn't it?
Unbelievable. Honestly, he's so clever. He is so clever. People say, "Oh, he don't come and join in the play," and he's not. But his brain going forward and his runs and his finishing are off the charts. They are off the charts. He's phenomenal for. I don't think he gets the all-round respect. We talk about your Harry Kane's, and Harry Kane's a great player. But there's no one like this man. There's nobody like him. I was on the pitch early, he walked past. He's Gulliver. He's like 6 foot. How big he is. He's as quick as everybody else on the pitch. But his brain, honestly, his run. Everybody else runs offside there. They get excited. They run off. He just looks at that defender and he goes, "As long as I'm not in front of you. I'm on the side." And he just takes one step to the side and then goes again. It's amazing. Then he just calms himself down. You know, to be that big, that quick, and then just to go that cool and then slide it in. Yeah, can't talk highly enough of him.
Great to watch, isn't it? It's certainly a first start to remember for Ricardo Calafiori. First Arsenal reaction now with Calafiori and Patrick Davison.
It's a very eventful game for your first Arsenal start. As you stand here now, disappointed, frustrated, also a little bit happy?
Yeah, for sure, you described it well, because I think they start so good, and of course at the beginning it was tough for us, but then we react really good, and of course when the ref send out a player like this, it's never easy, and you have to do at the 80, at the like 45 and more minutes, like close to your 16, and it's so tough, and we are so close to win the game, but at the end we didn't.
Just focusing on the first half and the bit before the red card initially, what were your emotions like in that first 20 minutes? Because like you said, it was so tough and City was so dominant, and then all of a sudden you score an outrageously great goal.
Yeah, this is a high-level games, which is Premier League normally, and especially against Man City. But as you said, we've done well after, and we deserve more, I think.
Do you want to tell us about your strike, the goal?
I don't have nothing to say. I think was a really good strike, and I was so happy to have the team. At the end, we haven't won the game, so I'm a bit sad and disappointed, yes, as well.
So what was the second half like? You've touched on it a bit already, but how tough is that when you're just stuck really on the edge of your box? They've got an extra man, so you can't get out. How draining is it? Do you find yourself looking up at the clock and it doesn't seem to change?
Yeah, you described it as well, good. And of course, when you are one man less with this kind of teams, it's always hard. And but I think we've done really good. Mentally, more than physically, it was really tough for me, and I think for everyone. But we've done it well, I think.
Yeah. Did you get a view of the red card?
No, not yet, not a replay, but I mean, I don't know. I don't want to say.
You don't want to say too much.
I don't want to say too much, but referee, for me, they have to do like their job to keep the game like good to watch. But in this kind of actions, they don't have to put themselves too much. You know, for me, for what I think, Leo didn't even hear the whistle. And come on, you have to do your job, not more.
And lastly, like big games often do, where there's a lot at stake, it did get kind of spicy, if you know what I mean. Yeah. Second half between the two teams.
For sure, this is even good. But as I said before, you don't have to do too much on the pitch, and let the guys play, let the teams play, because this is pure spectaculous, you know.
Okay. Thank you. Well done.
Thank you.
There's a bit of frustration and maybe some disappointment as well, but you also stood here quite a proud manager.
Absolutely. It's unbelievable what the players did. The way we played in the normal conditions that are already super, super difficult. That's why they haven't lost here for 40-something games. And then the context that we're thrown against 10 men for 55 or 56 minutes. So that's really the story, that's really the character of our players, and I'm extremely proud of them.
So if we start at the beginning, how tough was that first 15, 20 minutes?
Yeah, it was. They had two situations. The one with Gundogan in between, that he was playing just behind Haaland and pinning them, and they created an opening from that situation, and then the goal, and I think not much more than that. But we have to dig in, we have to get some control, be a bit more stable in what we wanted to do. We get that. We were very efficient in front of goal. We went up 2-1, and then there are two incidents, very similar. In particular, one very different, with a very different outcome that obviously forces you to play a game that nobody wanted to watch.
Okay, let's talk about that since you brought it up. So firstly, two incidents. Number one, you're talking about Doku kicking the ball away.
I'm not talking about anything. I'm just saying what happened. I think it's very obvious. I don't need to talk about it.
Okay, but that's what you're referencing, isn't it? The Doku kicking the ball away and not getting a card.
About situations that happen in the game.
Okay, what did you make of Leandro Trossard being sent off?
I think it's very clear.
And what do you think, Mikel?
Very obvious. Hopefully 100% of the people thinks.
Do you think, obviously you're disappointed with the refereeing decision, that's why you won't say more, but does...
It's not my job to come here and judge what happened. My job is to survive in the most difficult environment you can throw in football for 55 minutes and try to get things done to survive. That was my job. The rest is out of my job, and it's already a second time that happened in 5 games, which is really, really worrying if we want to see the best Premier League.
Fine. So this question is not about the officials, it's about Trossard. Does he give, having already been booked, a clear booking, does he give the referee a decision to make?
Play football, any sport, is less than a second. Less than a second. The previous one is more than a second. That's it. Simple.
Okay. How difficult does that then make the game for your players from that point on?
It makes it impossible. It's very, very hard already against 11 players. With 10 is impossible, because you're going to put them under pressure. That means that you're going to defend your 6-yard box time and time and time after time. That's it.
And how well did your players do that?
Unbelievably well. So proud of them.
Yeah, it was a fantastic effort from your players, wasn't it? What is the feeling when you're seconds away from seeing it through?
Well, when you have survived for that many minutes, to concede in last minute the way we did, because we had to play 97 and then it went to 99. Very disappointed, but at the same time, I cannot be prouder of them and the way they competed today.
Lastly, then, Mikel, it did get quite fractious at the end. Many Arsenal players going down throughout the second half. It seemed to be the perception of City that that's a tactic to slow down and break up the game. Is the truth from your point of view just that your players are defending their box for 45 minutes and they're exhausted?
That's not for me to comment.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, Mikel.
What should we call it? Game management. We asked Opta to clarify how long the ball was in play for in the second half, and the response was 35 minutes, which is the most of any half this season, which was probably quite surprising, but maybe that's, I don't know, because the ball was in play so much and it was just City knocking it from one side of Arsenal's box to the other. Do you think the game management was a feature in that second half?
I mean, it's got to be. You have to literally use every tool in the sort of box, really. Arsenal had to do what they did. Like I said, the issue was switching off. There were signs of it with the short corners that Man City were taking. They wanted to get the ball into play as soon as possible, not to give Arsenal breathing space. Arsenal could only do that, was to slow the game down, go down with cramp, I suppose. But look, it managed to bite them back in the backside, to be honest. It really did. And it's a shame, and it was a shame that we got, of course, it was a red card. But look, they still got to be very proud of that performance, to go away, particularly having that midweek game. A lot of them played a lot of football, a lot of travelling around to come against one of the best teams in the country right now. It's a good result.
Wouldn't it be good if a manager came out after a game and just say, yeah, do you know, he was a bit silly and it was a yellow card. Every manager's coming out every week now going, no, it wasn't a foul, it wasn't this, something happened 5 minutes earlier. Just come out and be big enough and say, do you know what, players do daft stuff on a football pitch. We're not about to send it off. And even Arteta there, come out and show a bit of class and go, do you know what? Yeah, give the referee a chance to send him off.
But
We're
he
disappointed,
feels
but
there's
we
a
move on.
narrative against his team building, Roy. It's the second
I
time
get
in
a bit of
5
that.
games
No, I
they've
get
had
a bit
players
of that. I get that. He's obviously going to come out and fight his corner, but just every now and again, come out, and I just don't mean Arteta. Managers every week are coming out going, every decision's against him. Just come out, even today, because deep down he'd be satisfied with a point. We said he would have took that before the game, and he mentioned he was proud there, the usual 2 or 3 times of his team. But just say, show a bit of class, manager of Arsenal, and go, right, he probably deserved the yellow card, but we reacted well. We're Arsenal, we're a big club, we'd move on quickly. And that's the end of it. But they're constantly saying, no, it's a disgrace. He said as well a few weeks ago about Wright. Take your medicine, show some class. Your team did well today. You are proud of them, but managers are proud of their teams every week, no matter what the result is. And move on. Show a bit of class.
But he thinks it is a disgrace, doesn't he?
Sorry?
He thinks it is a disgrace, what's happening to his team. Whether we agree whether it's right or wrong or not.
He thinks that. I think so. I don't, the rules say don't kick the ball away. They say they're not making it up as they go along. It's not like the refs go,
less than a second.
But that's what we're playing with. It's the Premier League. It's 100 mile an hour. That's why we love this league. If Haaland runs forward in that second, he's offside. But he doesn't. And that's that second. It's that second. He runs forward, he's offside. He takes that second to go sideways, he stays on side. This is what we're playing with. These lads are like a lightning now. They're all quick. We're playing on seconds. And that's it. You've got to be alive. You're a professional footballer. He knows what he's doing. He's fouled the lad, and then it bounces down, and he kicks the ball. I've seen Trossard play. He's a good footballer. He'd have side-footed that ball to Martinelli. He wouldn't have just kicked it away. They know what they're doing. We're working in with seconds. This is a quick foot. This is why we love the Premier League.
And as a player as well, you make foul. You made a foul.
Yeah.
He could have been booked.
Look at Martinelli.
He could have been booked
Look at Martinelli. He's gone down with cramp. And the ref went play on, and he got up and run and chased the lad down. I mean, you can't get cramp and get up and run off.
I do worry about their goalkeeper, though, the Arsenal keeper, because he picks up a few injuries along the game, doesn't he? And he gets treatment, and then he gets up. He obviously gets that magic sponge. So that's pretty good, yeah.
Almost got that. And like you say, in the cold light of day, that will be important. At the moment, it's raw, but when they reflect.
Yeah, because if you're able to go to City with 10 men and you can hold them out that long, defending with no one up top, that should give you a lot in respects of confidence, in respects of defending anywhere else.
And you said before this game, draw here today, beat them at home, and not lose to the champions is the foundation.
There's a lot of talk about Arsenal going there and trying to get a draw. No one's going to tell me that 4 points against City is not good in any scenario for me. In any scenario, whether you're going there for the draw or not, if you can win against City in any scenarios, you've got to take it. And that's a point that I would love us to have got 3. We got 1 point, and we go again.
OK, Pep Guardiola still then hasn't lost at home as City manager to Arsenal. Here are his post-match thoughts.
Sometimes the words are hard to find. Just relentless pressure, an unbelievable game. What are your thoughts on the whole of what we've just seen?
Yeah, it was. Many things happened since the second 2. Like we delayed the game 2-3 minutes, so many things happened. But yeah, so it has already created good battles against Arsenal. So different ones that was in the Liverpool in the past, but good ones as well.
Tell us how hard it is, second half against 10 players, and they're going to play like that. How hard is it to break through?
We play 5-3-1, one player more up front, like happened with Brighton, but they put 4 players in line, so incredible toll, incredible commitment. I think we are not able to do that as a team. So big compliment from Arsenal because they defend every single ball, every single block until the end. Of course we create chances, maybe not clear because it doesn't matter the crosses. You have John, have Erling, you have Gundo in more spaces, but they have Calafiori and have Saliba and have Gabriel and have Partey and Rice and in these communities it's so difficult. But we did really well because the second balls we didn't do faults because they want to stop the game. We know how much it stopped the game at the second half, but we did really well. We were patient enough for the for the turner right, left, right, no cross to cross. Look the right moment, and at the end we were fortunate. We got what we tried to win in the second half.
Certainly for the home supporters, all that stopping, it's very frustrating. It must be for you as well a bit, but can you admire it as well, the way Arsenal did it?
I admire my team. my team started really well, and after, for interruption to stop, unfortunately for Rodri, for many things. And after the first goal, like the referee asked to the captains to talk and don't allow the captain to go to the position. Incredible goal to Calafiori. We have to admit it. We defend really, really bad the second one, and saying that they are unbelievably good, incredible taker. Gabriel is so strong in that positions. But yeah, so happy for the for the performance, for the result, and 99 points left. So many things are going to happen.
Thanks, Pep.
You're very welcome.
He alluded to what you spotted there on the equalising goal there, that the referee asked the two captains across, which we went through at half-time. That's what we thought Pep Guardiola wasn't happy about at the time.
Yeah, I don't think he was. I don't think he did. I don't think he noticed that, and I think he was just frustrated in the moment and was frustrated at Kyle. But you know, hindsight's a wonderful thing, and we were able to see it from. It took us a while to work out what's everyone so unhappy about. But yeah, it seems like an age ago, doesn't it? But that was
so much happened in that game.
It was such an important moment. It was so important, but it probably won't even get a sniff in the highlights. But here we go again, trying to take control, like we say. The first half was so frantic, so much going on, some really tetchy fouls, shoulder barges, and Michael Oliver felt like he needed to get the captains together. Not a problem. That happens regularly in Premier League games. Get control of this. Everybody take a breath. But ultimately, he's dragged Kyle Walker out of position. Martinelli stood there exactly where Kyle Walker would be, facing him up. Dealt with it, probably diffused the situation in fairness and done what he needed to do, but there he needs to be stronger with Partey and just say, you need to wait. You need to wait. Kyle's a few little things going on, everybody's sorting. Really clever from Partey, really clever. And obviously there's a bit more defending to go from here, but that's a key moment in these big games. And unfortunately, I feel like Michael Oliver could have done a lot better there.
What do you think, Michael?
Yeah, I agree. I think he should have delayed it just another couple of seconds. I mean, I don't think Kyle Walker sprinted to get back into position. I think he was walking, he was jogging, he was talking to people, pointing
Maybe he
around.
thought that the referee would just give him the opportunity to get back into position.
Do you think he should sprint back in, having been called out of position? He didn't go and confront the referee.
No, but we saw Pep Guardiola, and he was at the outset, he was blaming Kyle Walker. He was like, Kyle, get back in, kept screaming at him to get back in.
Chess-wise, Pep's 3 steps ahead of all of us, though, isn't he? So he can smell it, he can see it, whereas Kyle's kind of in, I've been asked to come here, I've come and spoken to the teacher, I'll just get back into my position.
Someone else Absolutely,
but he did amble back in.
Team as well, though, should be standing in and around the ball.
Yeah.
That's one of the things that happen just naturally. I think that even when Kyle's running away pointing, he might even have been saying, someone get on the ball. It's something that you naturally do, but in the end, you know, it was great play from Partey to get it in there, but like I wouldn't want that goal scored against me, especially with the referee.
So you sympathise with?
I do sympathise, because like if you're gonna do that, and we're gonna go to the letter of the law in respect of what you're doing, surely if you're calling the captains in, you've got to give them both the opportunity while the game's dead to get back in position. Then you blow the whistle. That just seems very, very logical to me. Something like that should have happened.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't matter with Saka, did it? I mean, Arsenal had possession of the ball. He's an attacking player. If he's slightly out, but as a defending team, and you're calling the right back over, you've got to let them set. And I do agree. The referee should have stood on the ball and just waited until he's back. Worst case scenario, Erling Haaland or somebody around the ball should have just stood on the ball, waited until they were back. However, I just made the point that I did think Kyle Walker was a little bit sleepy himself. As I say, he never sprinted back, or he wasn't aware of it. He did amble back, and Pep wasn't happy with him for ambling back. So, yes, it was unfortunate for City.
Are we definitely sure that Pep was upset with Kyle, though?
Yeah, he was screaming at Kyle. Yeah.
I think his chair and his seat got the brunt of that at the time. But you weren't happy with Leandro Trossard, because when we look at this, it's definitely a yellow card for the first one. He knows it's on a yellow card. He knows it's at the end of the first half. And we now know 110% that this yellow card was for kicking the ball away, not the challenge.
Right, yeah. And you know, I think that because I think that the referee, if Leandro Trossard doesn't get sent, I think that a lot of the chat would have been the mistake that Mike Oliver's made in respects of not giving Kyle Walker the opportunity to get back in position. But like even that, you know, the way he's challenged him there, that easily could have been a yellow. But for him to kick the ball away in the moment with everything what he's seen, what's happened with Declan, you know what I mean? I don't think there's no excuse for him here. You know what I mean? I think when he looks back cold-lighted, he'll say to himself, gosh, what was I doing at the time?
if somebody else had made that foul and it was a 50-50 foul and he was then onto it and sort of kicked it, you'd think, he might not have known. He made the most obvious. It was him that made the foul. And it was the most obvious one. He hears the whistle and he kicks. So he knew exactly what he was doing. As I say, I would try to sympathise for him if it was another scenario. But he created a foul with a reckless foul in the first place anyway. So he knew it was a foul. He then heard the whistle and then he kicked it away. He's got no one to blame but himself.
And it's such a topical discussion on the back of Declan Rice 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, it really is. And, you know, we've been talking about it, but Arsenal have managed to get 2 draws this season, and both times it was avoidable. Declan Rice was avoidable, and so was Leandro Trossard. So they put their team under needless pressure, and there's only so long and so many times you can get these results. Like, they're putting themselves in needless situations. I get it, Trossard's hot and bothered and a couple of minutes before half-time, but as Michael just said, he knows he's barged Bernardo Silva there, so he should be bracing himself for a foul to be given. And then he's not looked to put the ball into any sort of position other than just the whack away once you've been told off kind of thing. And I think the yellow card was fair.
I was saying as well, Mike, that at some stage he's going to look to even that up, because I think that was a massive mistake he made with Kyle Walker. And I think Trossard gave him the opportunity to, not to send him off, because Trossard, there's no one else to blame but him. But I think that something else would have happened at some stage. I think he would have evened it up some other place. Yeah, I genuinely do. Simply because I think that would have been a massive mistake from the referees for what they'd done to Kyle Walker there.
So it was a blow for Arsenal. It was a blow for a neutral, really.
Yeah.
Like you and I, for instance, in here, and like these two, because the game was so good, wasn't it?
Yeah.
11v11.
It could have been an all-time classic. That first half had absolutely everything. You know, the tempers were running high. There was goals being scored. We wondered whether it'd be a cagey affair like at the end of last season. But with Haaland scoring early on, it sort of opened the game up. And then all of a sudden, it had everything. And then, as you say, that red card just altered the whole complex of the game. You know, obviously Arteta changed. He brought Saka off. He brought another defender on in Ben White. He put a block of 6 and then 3 in front. It was, I don't know, for the neutral, wanting to see an open, free-flowing game, it probably ruined it. However, it did give us a different aspect of football, and can you break down a packed defence, etc. So it was quite interesting in some ways, but I thought it was building into an all-time classic, I must admit, and I thought the red card, even though it was justified, ruined the game a little bit.